Salespeople are polled to determine their top training needs. The majority say they want to be able to identify key decision makers and their needs. What learning activity would work best for this? A. Case studies. B. Lecture. C. Demonstration. D. Role plays. The correct option is D. Role plays are the most effective activity because they allow salespeople to practice identifying key decision makers and their specific needs in a simulated, hands-on environment. This practical application allows them to develop and refine their questioning and active listening skills needed for real-world sales situations. Why other options are incorrect? A. Case studies involve analyzing past situations to determine a course of action. While they help with analytical skills, they do not provide the dynamic, interactive practice of real-time communication and relationship building necessary to practice identifying and responding to different decision-makers in person. B. Lecture is a passive learning method where information is delivered to the audience. It is a poor method for developing interpersonal skills like identifying decision-makers and their nuanced needs in a live conversation. C. Demonstration involves showing how a task is performed. While useful for showing techniques, it does not allow for active participant practice and immediate feedback in the same way role-playing does, which is critical for mastering the nuances of sales interactions. In an organization with a multicultural workforce, which measure designed to minimize the need for discipline may be hindered by a high-power distance culture? A. Making consistent decisions on work rules. B. Setting clear expectations for employees. C. Establishing a climate of communication. D. Applying the headquarters code to global operations. The correct option is C. In a high-power distance culture, there is a strong acceptance of unequal power distribution and a greater degree of deference to authority. Employees in such cultures are generally less likely to openly question management or express dissent, which means that measures that rely on open, two-way communication between management and employees may be hindered. Why other options are incorrect? A. Making consistent decisions on work rules, and B. Setting clear expectations for employees are actually very effective in high-power distance and high-uncertainty avoidance cultures. Clear rules, procedures, and consistent application of these rules provide a sense of structure and predictability, which is often appreciated in such environments. D. Applying the headquarters code to global operations relates more to an ethnocentric approach to managing global operations, and its effectiveness would depend on how well the headquarters culture aligns with the host country's culture, but it does not specifically address the open communication aspect that is challenged by high-power distance. Dissatisfaction among clerical staff is high, as measured by turnover and mistake rates. Exit interviews indicate boredom as a primary reason for leaving. What strategy would be most successful in addressing this problem? A. Expanding the tasks to be performed. B. Increasing the complexity of the job. C. Transferring employees to other departments. D. Increasing the number of people performing the job. The correct option is A. The problem indicates high dissatisfaction due to boredom. The strategy of expanding the tasks to be performed, also known as job enlargement, directly addresses boredom by increasing the variety of duties an employee handles. This can make the job more interesting and engaging, potentially reducing turnover and mistake rates caused by monotony. Why other options are incorrect? B. Increasing the complexity of the job would likely involve job enrichment, which can also be a valid approach. However, expanding the tasks, job enlargement, is a more direct and often simpler solution for simple clerical work that is explicitly described as boring due to a lack of variety. Job enrichment, increasing complexity, responsibility, and autonomy may be a second-best option, but requires more fundamental changes to the job design, and may be overwhelming for some employees, if not implemented carefully. C. Transferring employees to other departments does not address the root cause of the job design issue within the department itself, and merely moves the problem elsewhere, or requires retraining, which is inefficient. D. Increasing the number of people performing the job would not solve the problem of boredom for individual employees. In fact, it might lead to further job specialization and even more monotonous, repetitive tasks for each